All right, if you're building anything with AI right now, you need to stop what you're doing and listen up. We are literally witnessing a fundamental shift in how AI connects to the real world, and it's happening faster than almost anything I've ever seen.
So, get this. OpenAI and Anthropic just agreed on something. I mean, let that sink in for a second. That just never happens. When you see two of the biggest, fiercest competitors in an industry suddenly get behind the exact same standard, you know something big is going on.
And that something is called MCP, the Model Context Protocol. It's the reason why Claude, ChatGPT, and pretty much every major AI tool is adopting it. So let's break down what it is, why it is such a game changer, and most importantly, what it actually means for you.
To really appreciate why MCP is such a big deal, you first have to understand the massive, massive headache that it solves. You see, right now, even the smartest AI models are fundamentally trapped. They're stuck inside their own digital box.
In engineering, we call this the N by M problem. Just think about it. You have N AI apps, right? And you have M tools and data sources, your database, GitHub, Slack, you name it. For every single connection between an app and a tool, a developer has to sit down and build a totally custom piece of software. It is slow, it's brittle, and it is an absolute unscalable nightmare.
And I'm not just talking theory here. I can tell you from personal experience, I once burned 3 full weeks of my life just building a custom connector so an AI could read from our company database. 3 weeks for something that honestly feels like it should take 3 minutes. It is just incredibly frustrating.
And you know what? My 3 weeks of pain, that was for just one connection. This problem absolutely explodes at scale. I mean, look at this. If you have just 10 AI apps and 20 tools you need them to talk to, that's 200 separate custom integrations you would have to build and maintain. No one has time for that.
So all of this mess leads to a pretty obvious question, right? What if we didn't have to do this every single time? What if there was a universal language, a single standard that any AI could use to talk to any tool?
Well, that is exactly what the Model Context Protocol is. It's the answer. It's not just another new tool. It's a foundational piece of plumbing for the entire AI industry.
You know, we've actually solved this exact kind of problem before. Just think back to the 90s. The back of your computer was a total rat's nest of different parts, right? The printer had a giant parallel port. The keyboard had its own special plug. The camera had some weird proprietary cable. It was chaos. And then USB came along. One standard port. And suddenly, everything just worked.
MCP is the USB for AI. It's that simple. On the left, you've got the world before MCP, that tangled mess where every single app needs its own custom-built connector. And on the right, you have the world with MCP. It's clean, it's simple, it's a universal standard. You build one MCP connection for your database, and suddenly any AI that speaks MCP can use it.
So here's the more formal definition. But there are 2 words here that are absolutely key. Open source. This isn't some proprietary tech that's locked down by one company. And it creates secure, 2-way connections. That means the AI can not only read data, but it can also take actions. It is literally the bridge between the AI's brain and all the real-world data and tools we use every day. Okay, so that's the theory. But what does this actually look like in the real world? Let's walk through a super simple example. So imagine you ask your AI assistant, "Hey, summarize yesterday's Slack messages for me." In the background, your AI app acts as what's called the MCP client. It sends that request over to a dedicated Slack MCP server. Now, that server's only job is to translate the request, securely grab the right messages from Slack, and then hand them back to your AI in a perfectly standard format. The AI then makes sense of it all and gives you your summary. It's simple, it's secure, and it's incredibly powerful.
And this is where it gets really amazing, because that same simple protocol can be used to query a database, create a GitHub issue when you find a bug, pull information from files in your Google Drive, or even read your company's internal documentation in Notion. You just write the MCP server for each tool one time, and you unlock it for the entire AI world.
Okay, so you might be thinking, this sounds great, but is it just another standard that's going to fade away in a year? And that is a totally fair question. But in this case, the answer is a hard no. The adoption of MCFP has been absolutely lightning fast.
I mean, just look at this timeline. Anthropic introduces it in late 2024. Just a few months later, OpenAI, their biggest rival, is officially adopting it. And by the end of 2025, it's been moved under the neutral governance of the Linux Foundation, with both companies as co-founders. Seriously, this kind of speed and collaboration is almost unheard of in the tech world.
And let's be super clear about what this means. This is not a marketing stunt. When you see arch rivals putting all their weight behind the exact same open standard, it means the debate is pretty much over. The industry is agreeing on the future of AI integration, and that future is MCAP.
Okay, so we've covered what it is and why it's taking off like a rocket. But let's bring it all back to you. Why should you, as a developer, a product builder, or just someone in this space, actually care about this?
Well, first, from a career angle, mark my words, you are going to start seeing MCP experience preferred on job postings very, very soon. Learning this now puts you ahead of the curve. If you're a builder, this is a massive gift. It lets you skip months of boring integration work and get straight to building cool stuff. And for everyone, the fact that it's open source means you can trust it to stay neutral and collaborative. So, to sum it all up, the easiest way to think of MCP is as the universal open source bridge. It is the final missing piece that lets the incredible brainpower of AI models securely connect to the data and the tools where we all do our actual work.
And this leaves us with a really exciting question. For years, AI has been incredibly powerful, but kind of siloed off. Now, that wall is coming down. The universal language to connect everything is here. So the only question left is, what are we going to build?